super fun Housewives collaboration that I am so excited about. I don't know if I've ever been so excited about a video on my channel. So today I'm doing a day in the life of a 1950s housewife, and I have teamed up with a few other channels, and each channel is going to do a day in the life of a housewife from a certain decade between the 1950s and the 1990s. So as I said, I'm doing the 1950s, and then Emily Norris is doing a day in the life of a 1960s housewife. Elle Lindquist is doing 1970s. Shaylee from Shaylee and Baby is doing 1980s. And Arianna Pflederer is doing a day in the life of a 1990s housewife. So I will have all of their videos linked down below, so grab a blanket and a cup of tea and come see kind of the evolution of housewives through the decades. I am just so excited to see everyone's videos and see how they chose to represent their decade and how their day was different than mine. So for like a month, I researched a ton to see what the life was like for a 1950s housewife, and I followed it as much as possible. TVs and dishwashers were around, but they weren't super popular, and so I decided to just stay away from them completely. I think that the biggest change was that I was not on my cell phone like pretty much at all that day, and I stayed away from social media completely that day. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my day in the life of a 1950s housewife. So as I was researching 1950s housewife daily routines, a lot of times it said that the wife would wake up before her family so that she could get all nice and ready before everyone woke up. And so I started my day at 6:30 a.m. So I just did my hair in Pinup Curls because it seemed easy and something that I could do. So essentially you just curl your hair and then you wrap the hair around your finger and pin it up so that the curl can set that way. So I looked up a few 1950s makeup tutorials, and I decided to just go with a really classic look, which really isn't too far off from how I wear my makeup. A couple of the makeup tutorials mentioned that it was a trend to have a high arch for the eyebrow, so I tried that out, but it didn't necessarily come out that great. I think I put the arch too far back. And then I just put a white shimmery eyeshadow all over my lid and underneath my eyes a little bit to really brighten them up. And then I just took a medium brown shade to go in my crease and underneath my eyes. For the classic 1950s makeup look, it said that they didn't really wear a lot of eye makeup underneath, but I did want to add some brown eyeshadow to give a little bit of definition. And then I just went in with a classic winged eyeliner. After that, I just put on some mascara on my top lashes and left my lower eyelashes bare. And then I applied powder, bronzer, and blush. I tried to apply the bronzer and blush with a little bit more of a light tan than I normally would. After I got done with my makeup, I could hear Harper starting to wake up, and so I went into the kitchen to get breakfast ready before I went and grabbed her. In all of the 1950s routines and schedules that I had researched, they had always talked about the importance of laying out yours and your kids' clothes the night before. Put on your dress. You look very beautiful. Okay, let's go eat some breakfast. Good morning, guys. It is 8 o'clock. My hair is starting, whoa, look at that girl. My hair is starting to fall out, but it is 8 a.m. I have been up for almost a couple of hours. So I am going to start making breakfast. You playing with a picture of mommy and daddy? Yeah, that's mommy and daddy before you were born. I always thought that in the 1950s, moms would make pancakes and waffles and bacon and eggs for breakfast every morning. But in my research, I learned that they would really kind of save that for the weekend. And during the week, they would stick to much more simple breakfast. Okay, so here's what our breakfast looks like, which is pretty typical for our mornings. So I put some strawberry jam in Harper's oatmeal with no milk, because that's how she likes it. And then I put a little bit of milk, sugar, and fruit in mine. And then I have some fruit chopped up for Harper. Mommy needs to do her hair, huh? I'm looking a bit crazy here. So after breakfast, I decided to get out of my robe and let my hair down and finish getting ready for the day. The Roomba started running. Am I in focus? They definitely did not have that in the 1950s. It definitely shows you the difference between the 1950s and 2017. So this is my hair and makeup. I did the best that I could do to look like a 1950s housewife. Hi! So once I was all done getting ready, I went back into the kitchen and cleaned up after breakfast. I really enjoyed keeping up with things as I went. What you doing, sweetheart? Instead of kind of saving everything for one big cleanup session. It definitely made me feel more productive as the day went on. So online, I was able to find a 1950s housewife daily cleaning routine that I thought would be really fun to stick to. So after breakfast, there was a long list of chores to do before lunch, which included gather a basket for tidying. As the rooms of the home are tackled, pick up items that aren't where they belong and place them in a basket. Redistribute them where they should be as you enter a new room. Straighten up the living and dining room, including picking up potential clutter, light dusting, fluffing and straightening of pillows, and watering plants and flowers. Make the beds. Tidy the bedroom, including light dusting. Hang up any clothes that may be about or ensure dirty ones are in the hamper. Do a light tidy of the bathroom, including removing and replacing used towels, refill toilet paper and soap if needed, and clean the sink and basin area, including soap dishes. Review the menu for the current day and the next and compare it to what's currently available in the home. Make note of anything that needs to be prepared ahead of time or shopping that needs to be done. Begin long advanced food preparations for dinner, such as making dessert. Wipe down kitchen work surfaces and inside the fridge. Dispose of garbage, rinse dishcloths and hang to dry, and sweep or mop the kitchen floor. Okay, so the house is all clean. I'm kind of talking quietly because Harper is still sleeping. I probably need to freshen up. I'm probably looking a bit misty, but I got some vintage cookbooks. So I got the Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, and this is from, I think it said 1955. This one I think was around the same time. And then I got this one kind of for my own stash, but it's kind of like what moms would use before there was Pinterest. So it is a party book, and it gives you ideas. So like this one is Father's Day, and it gives you some ideas that you can do for him, and it includes recipes. We have 4th of July, Independence Day, Halloween. So for lunch, I grabbed an egg salad recipe from this 1950s cookbook. And this recipe actually called for sour cream instead of mayo, which I had never done before in an egg salad recipe. Definitely gave it kind of a 1950s twist, and I was excited to see how it was going to turn out. And funny enough, when I took the first bite out of the sandwich, I got a flash of my grandmother making me an egg salad sandwich. It definitely tasted like the kind that she would make. So back in the 50s, they did have TVs, but they weren't super popular in the home yet. They did have record players. And so I thought that it would be super fun to get her a little nursery rhyme record. It's nice to see like what kind of nursery rhymes they had back in the 50s, and it's really cool that most of these are still super popular, like Jack and Jill, London Bridge, 1, 2, Buckle My Shoe. I had this record playing off and on in the background throughout the day, and it definitely helped to keep Harper entertained. She loved dancing to it as she played with her toys.
This is the way we wash our clothes so early in.
And I just loved the vintage sound that it brought to our home. It definitely made me feel closer to the 1950s. Okay, so we just had about 30 minutes of playtime. It is now 2:30, and now she is listening to her nursery rhymes. So in the daily cleaning routine, it said to do 1 weekly chore, and one of the options was to arrange flowers. So I was excited to have that be my weekly chore for the day. So next it was time to set the table, which was a little ahead of dinner, but that's something that I found in the daily routines, is that they would set the table an hour or 2 before dinner, which I really loved because I'm always trying to set the table while dinner is burning on the stove. I also wanted to be a little extra and use an actual tablecloth and bring out things like pretty white plates and wine glasses. And then I added some candles as well. After the table was all set, I pulled dessert out of the oven, which smelled delicious, and I got started on dinner. All of the 1950s routines and schedules that I was researching always stressed the importance of looking beautiful when your husband came home. So halfway through making dinner, I decided to go freshen up a bit. And then it was back to making dinner with my little helper. Are you helping Mama cook? In one of the 1950s daily routines that I was researching, it mentioned to set the living room for an evening of enjoyment for the mister, and this also meant setting out a cocktail tray and a newspaper for him. So I went looking for drink recipes in the cookbooks that I had got, and I found this recipe for sparkling milk. This recipe says to pour half of the glass with milk and then top it off with ginger ale and ice. And I was super excited to have Joe test this out. He said that it tasted like milk with Alka-Seltzer in it, but that he kind of liked it. And then it was finally time for dinner. The potato stew wasn't exactly how I thought it was gonna come out, but it actually was really good. Joe liked it, I liked it, and Harper liked it. So after we were all done having dinner together, Joe sat down and played with Harper for a bit while I cleaned up after dinner. Once the kitchen was all clean, we all sat down for a bit of family time, and then it was time to put Harper down for bed. I got her all ready in her pajamas, brushed her teeth, and laid out her outfit for the next day, which wasn't too different at all from our normal nighttime routine. After I put her down, I kicked up my feet and spent some time with Joe. I had so much fun doing this. I didn't know if it was gonna be just stressful or if it was gonna be fun. I didn't know really going into it, but I was really enjoying it. It was a ton of cleaning for sure, and I was straight exhausted by the end of the day. There were a lot of things that were different, but I would say at least 50% of it was very similar to my daily routine, which I'm gonna get cheesy here. Kind of made me feel close to my mom and my grandma and my ancestors because I kind of saw how timeless motherhood is. It was really fun just being extra. I feel like a 1950s housewife just did everything a little bit, you know, kind of just did, there's my baby in the background, kind of just did everything at a 10, and I don't think that that's actually super possible these days, because now even stay-at-home moms have, I think, so much more that they're juggling. Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I also work, and so I don't think that I could keep up with my work and do that amount of cleaning and lipstick applying. But it was fun to put extra effort into things, like putting a tablecloth on the table for dinner and making sure that I greet my husband. I think in the schedule it said gaily. Make sure that you greet your husband gaily. Joe does so much for this family, and I am so grateful for him. And a lot of the times when he gets done working, I like chuck a baby at him. We sometimes don't have that connection. I thought that I was gonna miss social media, but I did not. I was so busy. I honestly only sat down a small handful of times, and it definitely kind of opened my eyes that I need to put my phone down more so that I can get more things done. But this whole challenge also made me so happy that I am a housewife in 2017. I love my Roomba and I love the dishwasher. I love that I work and that I can have something that I'm passionate about outside of being a wife and mom. I love that my husband is always so eager to help me. I love cartoons every now and then to keep the baby busy. But I definitely think that I kind of want to merge 2017 with 1950 a little bit more and bring in some of the traits and routine that I did during my day in the life of a 1950s housewife. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Again, make sure that you check out all of the other ladies' videos. I am so excited to watch them. I will have all of them linked down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!